Hi there, I'm Mike, and this is Movement Meditation Magic. And tonight I am going to do something just a little bit different. I really wanted to talk a lot about both manifestation and shadow work. And the reason for that is because I feel like both in magic and in fitness, when you're trying to change your body, these two concepts are really very important to making changes. Um, Manifestation, to get started, manifestation is really just about creative visualization, having a firm idea of what you want. And when I say want, I mean what your higher purpose is, what you could do. Finding your higher purpose is a really hard one. Like what you could do if you could do anything that you want. Ideally, it would be like your higher purpose, the thing that you're put on here on Earth to do. And for me, I know that my higher purpose is to teach people. Before I became involved with fitness, I actually worked at a computer job where I was a disaster recovery engineer. And one of the things that I was always interested in doing was training other technicians. And I feel like teaching seems to be kind of a part of my higher purpose. And so that's why I'm teaching fitness magic. So really what you want to do is you want to make sure that the thing that you're trying to manifest, when you're talking about manifestation, you want to make sure that it's really, really in line with your higher purpose. That is really what's going to make you powerful as far as your manifestation is concerned. And that's not to say that you can't manifest mundane things and that you can't use magic and the manifestation techniques to achieve, money and cars that you want and things like that. I mean, it works really, really good for that. But you have to know that you have to do the footwork to get yourself there as well. So key to successful manifestation is, first of all, being able to visualize the thing or the situation or that it is that you want. So for instance, if I decide that I want to get a new car, it's going to behoove me really, really be in my best interest to go and take a look at that car and touch it and smell it and feel it and run my hands over it and sit inside it, maybe take it for a test drive and really, really know how that car feels. And how how my senses perceive that car. You want to cover all of the senses. You want to smell, you want to hear it, you want to touch it, you want to taste it. Maybe if you want to get nuts, but use as many of your senses as you can in feeling this car, like sit inside it and get the vibes from it, etc. And then if you decide that that's really what you want, then the way that you would manifest that is to imagine yourself owning that car. You're driving it down the coast, down the Oregon coast, and you feel the wind in your hair, and you smell the ocean air, and you feel the whoa, the car beneath you, and you got the stereo jamming, and you feel like this intense satisfaction at owning this beautiful vehicle. And you feel proud at all of the work that you did to achieve, this, and just feeling like maybe it's a top, you got the top down, it's a convertible, and you feel the wind in your hair and the sun on your face as you're driving along, and just feeling like grateful, feeling intensely grateful and satisfied. And you want to hold that feeling in your heart. You want to hold it in your heart and really just experience it over and over and over. And if you have a meditation practice, you could just meditate on that moment and really just over and over experience it and feel it and put that vibration. You're vibrating that out there. The more that you vibe that thing that you're trying to manifest successfully, the easier it will be for you to manifest that. So you're just experiencing what it feels like to have achieved this situation, and you experience it through the feelings of feeling grateful and satisfied. I feel like those are the two. Maybe feeling love, oh man, I love, if you like using the car example once again, like I love the fact that I can take Jen for a ride in this beautiful car that I've manifested, and I love the way that the sun feels, and we're going to stop at the rest stops and, go pee, and it's just such a nice day. And like, you just really envision an entire scene or just a moment of a scene in your mind, and hold on to the feeling. So that being said, that is the most powerful technique that that anybody really, I think, can use, is that sort of creative visualization with that manifestation intent, and feeling how it feels to already have achieved that thing. That is key. You can't say, oh, I want a brand new car, and that is your manifestation or your mantra. I want, because then you are manifesting the lack of that thing. All right, you really have to feel how it feels, and whatever it is, like I said, a brand new car, a new house, a new relationship, a new job. Like, you just have to feel how it feels to sit in that meeting of this new job that you've worked so hard for, and working among all these people that you respect in this field that you find to be exciting. Like, you have to put yourself in that situation mentally. It's like a drama for yourself. It's like a play. That's all that Magick is a theatrical enactment that will put the vibe of the thing that you want out there and bring it to you. So put yourself in that position, really feel it, manifest the shit out of it. That being said, talking about how this ties into both fitness and and how shadow work is involved. If you haven't done any shadow work, and if you don't even know what shadow work is, your manifestation is probably going to be really difficult. Shadow work is kind of like taking a look at it's insight. It's using your insight to take a hard, probably a difficult, uncomfortable look at yourself, and yourself today, yourself right now, and then back it up. Yourself throughout your life, everything that's gotten you to this point. Like, you really should analyze and look at situations that were challenging. Look at situations that caused you great pain. Look at situations that caused you trauma, and really examine those situations. And it's really challenging to refeel all of those things, especially in traumatic situations, especially. But as you look back at those things with wiser eyes, you want to try to look at them objectively. So without subjective viewpoint. So subjective means my own point of view, right? I want to look at situations in the past just as factual, without any emotion attached, just the factual situations. And honestly, that is kind of the core of shadow work, is just being able to step away from your perception and look at things objectively, like the way that everyone else would possibly see them. Somebody who's not your friend, and when you can take a look at situations objectively, and more importantly, when you can take a look at yourself objectively, it will make it easier for you to see places in your life that you've made mistakes. And the reason that you want to look back at those places is so that you can learn from those mistakes and create a brand new life, and really really make changes to patterns that don't suit you. Another part of manifestation is, like I said earlier, is making sure that you are in line with your higher self. Your higher self has a very specific thing, that you should be doing, like a path. And anything that you do that brings you outside of a beam of light that directs you to that path, I consider that as drifting. You know, you're drifting away from your purpose. And the more that you drift, the easier it is to get really, really off course and to put yourself in maybe life situations, making choices that are not in line with that path. You know, for instance, drug addiction is a big one. You know, alcoholism is a big one. People get disconnected from, you know, what their purpose is, disconnected from other people, and they stray, they wander off of that path. And drug addiction and alcoholism and, you know, overeating, sex addiction, like all of those things are distractions from our paths, ideally. And I'm not just saying that as like a fundamentalist, you know, religious judgmental situation. I'm saying that typically those are things that we use to distract ourselves when shadow work is overwhelming. And so you know, those are things that we use to self-medicate. We're trying to deal with our pain, and a lot of times if we still have a pain that we're trying to deal with in this kind of self-medicating way, it's because we haven't done shadow work. And so the way that affects your manifestation is it really, really, when you haven't done that kind of shadow work, like you're really focused on the lack. You know, it's hard to feel. Then one more concept I want to talk about too is lust for result. But it's hard to feel that appreciation when you haven't dealt with the underlying stuff that's going on. I really see this a lot with my own body and making changes in my own body, but also with clients. I've experienced this a lot over the course of the last 8 years, you know, that I've been training clients. What I see a lot is clients don't want to connect with their bodies. They don't sometimes want to look in the mirror. It's uncomfortable to look in the mirror. And I've felt this myself too. I've had lots of situations where I've been uncomfortable looking in the mirror, either because I didn't like how my body looked or because I didn't like something about myself. And so looking in the mirror is really, really difficult. You know, and I've worked through that stuff, thankfully. I like myself a lot better now. But before I had done a lot of shadow work, like I said, re-examining situations, ideas, patterns, things that drag you away from that center line. Before I had done that self-examination, you know, I didn't like myself very much. And honestly, when I didn't like myself, it made it more difficult to make the changes that I wanted to make to my body or to my lifestyle. It's kind of like spinning plates. You know, you need to make the change so that you can make the change. You know, and that's why manifestation is so important, because you have to really embody. You have to embody that next step before you can see it on the physical plane. You know, you have to embody that feeling and attract that feeling, the more of that feeling to you. You know, if you, for me, one thing that I have always worked hard to work through since I started doing this is scarcity mindset. And that's just because of the way that I was raised and my own thought patterns and some things that have always just been around with people I've dated and whatever else. Like I've always been kind of stuck in a sort of a scarcity mindset, and that's something that I've worked real hard to change myself this year. And manifestation, I mean, that's key for manifestation, because if I'm, like I said, if I'm focusing on that lack, that thing that I don't have, and that is my focus, instead of feeling grateful for that thing that I have, you know, I think of it in the present tense. I already have it. I've already experienced it. I feel grateful for it. It's amazing. You know, I love the plush interior of my brand new Tesla, you know, and I feel how I can take my hands off the wheel and it steers itself as I'm going down the highway, and I got the music cranked, and I'm, you know, doing those things that probably void my warranty to my car. Whatever, you know. But yeah, you got to get yourself in that position. So when you have this block of energy because you haven't done a lot of shadow work, it's hard to put yourself in that position because you're so busy feeling how much you don't have that thing. You know, it's a shift in mindset. And when I talk about magic, magic is just a tool that you are using to change your energy, to change your mind, to change your aura. You know, we're building a strong aura that's clear of debris, you know, from our day. We're sloughing all that stuff off. We're acting in ways that we want to be treated. You know, we're loving people. We're putting that love out there because we want to get that in return, but not because we want to get that in return. We're putting it out there because that's just how it works. When you put that energy out, that's what is returned to you, whether it's love or money or whatever else that you're trying to manifest. It's just a matter of getting yourself in that vibration. So, as I said, the key to all of this is being grateful, feeling the feelings in a present tense of the thing that you are manifesting, or that you have manifested. And it's just a tricky head game that you have to play with yourself. And so looking back over the course of situations that have been uncomfortable that you can possibly learn from doing this shadow work is all about just saying, you know, how was I responsible for whatever situation this is? What does this, how does this reflect on how I feel? You know, how am I responsible for the way that I felt or the way that I acted? What can I do differently? You know, and the only reason you're doing that is, like I said, to review it and to learn. But once you go through this process of that shadow work, it actually helps you to just let go. It helps you to revisit these things, work through them, and let go of honestly, you'll let go of trauma, you'll let go of stress, you'll let go of you know, anxieties about how you judge yourself. You'll let go of judgment. And so it's just really an important thing to do, and it's a difficult, challenging thing to do, and it's a very brave thing to do. And it really requires honest, careful introspection, and it requires giving yourself a lot of grace and forgiveness. You know, it requires giving yourself the same care and gentle touch that you would give a child or a friend who was having a real hard time and you wanted to comfort them. You know, I mean, you're just taking that comfort and you're turning it toward yourself. That's really crucial for your shadow work. You know, it's easy to dig through all that stuff and go, here's where I was wrong, here's where I fucked up, here's how, you know, I feel about this stupid thing that I did or said, or, you know, this person that I took for granted, or whatever it is that's in your past that you're working through. It's really easy to go through and see all of those things, maybe sometimes, if you're really looking. And it's really easy to find your faults maybe sometimes, but maybe you'll beat yourself up really, really hard for it. So that's why that grace, that gentle touch with yourself really comes into play. And honestly, that's that grace, that gentle love for yourself that that I'm encouraging you to practice. It should be something that you take into your daily life. Not just when you're doing shadow work, but as part of your daily life and your recovery practice. If you're exercising, you know, this is part of your self-care, is just being gentle with yourself and saying, hey, it's okay. You know, I had a hard day. COVID-19 struck, and, you know, I lost a lot of money and all of these bad things happened. And, you know, so I'm gonna act a little funny. You know, and that's okay because I'm a human being, and I'm going to get back on the horse and, you know, do whatever it is that I wanted to get back to, my diet or my daily workouts, or, you know, my six workouts a week. Don't go daily unless you're hardcore, and we'll talk about that. Like, that's a special case. But recovery, regardless of that, recovery is still important. And so part of your recovery practice should be balanced and gentle, and finding that balance, gentle touch with yourself, and that giving yourself that grace, not only when you're doing that shadow work, but all of the time. That's your new normal. You're going to treat yourself with grace. You're going to treat yourself with gentle, compassionate care and love that you would for a friend or a child. And so you have to realize that means finding a balance in everything. It's finding a balance in how much you work out. It's finding a balance in how much you diet. It's finding a balance in how you eat on the daily. And that balance might be very different from what you do now. If you're a strict dieter, that balance might be an uncomfortable thing for you to strike. But for your long-term health and longevity, in most cases, finding a balance is going to be a good thing for you to achieve. Anytime we get swept up in sort of like dogmatic thinking where there's this way or that way, and you're not able to see another perspective, typically for me, that kind of drives me towards unhealthy behavior, unhealthy thought patterns. I'm always trying to see another perspective. I'm always trying to find another, prove myself wrong. If I'm being dogmatic about something, I try to prove myself wrong, because it's a good practice to, once again, you're shifting your brain. You're changing the way that you think. You're changing the way that you think, and then your body will respond. It's very much a hermetic principle. And let's talk about the shadow work and the manifestation. And what was the other thing I said I wanted to talk about? Lust for result. So with fitness specifically, I see this a lot, where clients will come in, and this could be any sort of a change that you want to make to your body. Okay. I've had clients that have been this big around and needed to put on a lot of muscle. And we've made those changes. We put a lot of weight on clients. A lot of clients come to me for weight loss as well. And that's obviously a change that you can make too. But you can change your body, for trans people. You can change your body to appear more masculine or more feminine. There are all kinds of things that you can do that will affect change on your body. And one thing that I find with clients, talking about shadow work and manifestation, one thing that I find that comes in and gets in the way of making those changes to your body is lust for result. And that's exactly what it sounds like. You're so focused on, I want six-pack abs, that you lose sight of health, maybe, or you do other things that will set you up for failure. Weight loss clients is a real good example. Checking the scale every day. First of all, weight loss is something that happens gradually over time. Healthy weight loss is something that happens gradually over time. 1 pound, 2 pounds a week, for most people is kind of a healthy weight loss. If you lose a lot more than that, what happens is you bounce back. It makes it very easy to bounce back. Your body kind of goes into a state where it's you're disturbing your equilibrium when you're losing weight. And if you disturb your equilibrium a little bit, your body can adjust. It can adjust to that equilibrium. If you really tip the scale, pop it, and you're really jacking up your equilibrium, you could get yourself into a roller coaster. It's just it's just kind of how it works. So gradual weight loss is usually best for most people. But when people come in and they're really, really so focused on that number on the scale that they start weighing themselves every day, what happens is you're getting stressed. You're going to slow your you're going to key up your nervous system. So your nervous system will start kicking out a lot of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. We already have a lot of that cortisol floating around right now because of current situation, COVID-19 outbreak, and everybody's struggling with money or self-worth or drinking every day or whatever it is that you got going on right now. So you're already kicking out a lot of that stress hormone. So you want to try to eliminate that stuff as much as possible. So that lust for result, that checking the scale every day, that being so focused on losing 20 pounds within the next week or whatever ridiculous thing you've 20 pounds within the next month even is quite a lot. But 1 to 2 pounds a week, really, that should be goal. Anyhow, when you get yourself worked up into that sort of a mindset, you're creating a lot more cortisol. You're giving yourself a lot of feelings about your food, which really makes it difficult to maintain a consistent diet nutritionally. Oh man, hey, my battery's about to die. All right, guys. Well, that was my talk on shadow work and manifestation. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Hi there. Wow. So, I'm obviously having some technical issues still, and I am sorry that uh, I just got a lot going on, and I just moved again, and so I'm in a new space, and I'm trying to figure out how to make this thing work, and it's just weird. So, one of these days, I'll get my shit figured out. I'll work through all of my technical issues. be they computer issues or whatever else, and I'll deliver you guys some really quality stuff. I was really on a roll when my battery died, and yeah, so next time I'll make sure I've got I thought my battery is fully charged. I'll make sure that I'm just plugged in, and we'll do this. And for my people who are watching, I apologize for all of the snafus. I'm working to make things happen, and I'm going to keep bringing you guys really cool stuff. And please drop me a comment in the comments below. Let me know if you liked what you saw of today's stream. Yeah, you guys have a great day. Support the stream at Venmo. I'm Ritual Fitcraft, and I will be back with another streaming class on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday, which is going to be at noon Pacific Standard Time, and that's centered core and glutes. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and sorry about the weird technical issues for the last few episodes. I feel like I'm getting them ironed out. I'll talk to you guys soon.